In my constant search to help others, I've come across this huge concept that people are gravitating towards, futuring, where we're looking into the future so that we can make the best decisions, so that we can set ourselves up for where we're going. At the same time, when I work with people, a lot of times, they're really working hard to overcome the past. So which is it? Overcome the past or look far to the future? Today, that's what we're talking about.
Welcome to Advance with Mike Acker, the podcast designed to help entrepreneurs, business leaders, and professionals alike break through barriers by improving their practical leadership skills and increasing confidence in speaking. Your host is a best-selling author, executive coach, and founder of the Advance Public Speaking School and Advantage Publishing Group, two companies dedicated to providing an edge for leaders. Find out more about Mike at mikeacker.com. Now here's your host, Mike Acker.
Welcome back to my show. I'm so excited to dive in with you, especially since I'm getting ready to launch the second edition of my book, Speak with No Fear. In 2019, I launched it, and really, I wrote it as a passion project to help a lot of the people that I was working with. It was a topic that came up again and again. The strategies that I was using to work with them, I put down on a piece of paper. Many pieces of paper, published it, and went for it. Since then, the book has become the top rated book in the world on that topic. And I just got news that it's going to be translated into Polish. So that will be the fourth language it's getting translated into. A lot of fun. Now with that, I'm going to take some time today to help you out, to help you overcome any fear or nervousness that you have in speaking, but not only in speaking. Really, this is going to be relevant to all areas of life. And here's the big concept. Wherever you are, be there. Wherever you are, be there. And I'm going to just pause. First, you need to know this, that this is a one-shot, no-edit show. That means that along the way, I make some flubs. I don't manuscript this out. I'm not reading notes. I'm not looking at a teleprompter. I just want to connect with you. So I'm looking right at the camera so that you can feel like I'm looking at you. In that, I have all these ideas put out on a piece of paper, but really ultimately, I'm not trying to get the paper to you. I'm trying to personally connect with you. And I want to let you know this, that this is me speaking. This is difficult for me as well. In fact, some of the different strategies I share with you, I got that mastered. That's something I'm doing really well. I make my bed every day or whatever it might be. But today, this is a strategy. This is a principle of life that I struggle with. Where you are, be there. Sometimes where I am, I'm not there at all. My head is constantly turning. I wake up in the middle of the night writing down notes for videos, writing down notes for books. I have a whole list of different books I want to write. I'm constantly writing, constantly thinking, constantly creating, constantly thinking about new ideas for my business, constantly thinking about new ideas for another business, constantly. Well, you're probably there too. Your mind is going. And so sometimes I'm with my wife, but I'm not with my wife. And she'll say, "Where are you?" And I'm thinking, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I'll be with my son. I'm not with my son. And so, first of all, not only is this show not edited, but this part of my life is not edited. It's not finalized. It's something I desperately, desperately need work on. However, when it comes to speaking, I do this strategy. And it's one of those areas in life where I do the strategy well. That wherever I am in the speaking process, that's where I'm at. So if you're struggling with fear of communication, sure, I would love for you to pick up one of my books. And I got more books in the process. Sure, I would love for you to check out a program, have me in for a workshop. Yeah, absolutely. Those are great things. But you know what I really want to do in this moment? Help you out. If you're having fear of speaking, nervousness, anxiety, you should embrace the strategy that wherever you are, be there. Be in the moment. Don't go back and relive the past. Don't go future and just be thinking, I can't wait till I'm done with this. But be in the moment. And when it comes to speaking, there's actually three moments. There's the preparation, there's the presentation, and there's a reflection. And I encourage you to be fully present in all three of these different stages of your communication. Don't go back and live. A lot of people, I talk about this in the book, they relive wounds of the past. And really, if you're there, get some help, get past it, think through it, expose the wound. It's one of the strategies I talk about. And don't go far into the future like, man, when I'm amazing, or when I'm done with this, or when I don't have to present. No. Think about these 3 stages of your speaking and be fully present in every single one. Let me walk you through the 3 different stages. They're in the book. They're in the second edition of the book, which releases in a couple weeks. I'd love for you to check that out, but I'm going to give everything to you right here. Ready? There's preparation. Sometimes when preparation, people are so nervous because they're thinking about presentation. They're thinking about what it's going to be like when they're delivering it. And as a result, they're not fully present. Just like the example of me being with my son, thinking about something else, you can be in the moment of preparation, be putting together your agenda, putting together your slide deck, putting together your notes, whatever type of preparation you're doing, but you're not even enjoying that moment because you're thinking about the future. You're thinking about when you have to give it. I was recently working with this medical professional who came to me after reading the book, and he said, I just want to hire you to help me work on a best man speech. I said, absolutely. Most of the speeches I do are more of the professional setting, and here's a professional in a personal setting. I said, absolutely. So he wrote it all out there, and yet you could see that his mind was so turned towards the event. That makes it really hard to write down. If you're preparing a speech, especially if it's personal, really enjoy the moment. Don't get lost in what it's going to be like when you speak it. Get lost in the details. You got to do research for this. You got to pull up statistics. You got to go back into the history of your business. You got to study the customer you're trying to reach. Really get into that moment right there. When you get into the moment, you lose a lot of the nerves. I learned this through anger management. Now, I happen to be an aggressive driver. And then I moved to Mexico. I moved from Mexico to the United States, where I learned how to drive in Mexico. And then I moved to California. And all of a sudden I found my home. Everybody was aggressive. I mean, the freeways were ridiculous. And so my rage, my aggression was increasing. I was getting out there and yelling at people, and then find out that I'm yelling at my wife, who was right next to me, and we're going the same direction. That's how much it grew. So I learned a strategy about really being present in the moment by counting the details around me and really focusing that right now in front of me, I have a screen, and really getting to the particulars of the screen. For example, my screen is, well, it's about that big. I don't even know the size of my screen, but see, I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just thinking about the screen. So the screen's about that big. It's got a little thin black frame around it. I got a mountaintop as the background to my screen. I have 3 different panels for the 3 different cameras that are running at this point in time. And see, I'm really thinking through, and I'm really getting caught in that moment. Get caught up in the moment that you're in. If you're in preparation, get caught up in the moment. Discipline your mind. You're in charge. Discipline your mind to not be thinking about the moment when you're presenting that information. Think about you preparing that information. Think about who is giving you that content. Think about all the different particulars of that content. Think about how these statistics came to be. Get lost in the moment. Have you ever looked at your house and it was a mess and thought, I got to clean this mess, and it felt overwhelming? But then you just decide to tackle something. You're doing some spring cleaning and you tackle one area and you just get lost in organizing the garage. And maybe your spouse comes out to you like, what are you doing? I'm organizing the bottom tier of this. And you just got lost in it. And all of a sudden, the overwhelming nature of what you needed to do was something that was not even particularly interesting to you or overwhelming to you because you were immersed in the details. When you're preparing, immerse yourself in it. Really get lost in it. Don't believe me that it works? Take a moment. Look at something in the room around you, maybe as you're driving, maybe as you're working on the computer, having this on YouTube, maybe as you're putting it up on a podcast, going for a walk. Just get lost in the details around you for a moment. Go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you get lost in the details, all these other thoughts fade away. Incredible strategy for you as you're preparing to get lost in the details of preparation. Now it's time for you to present. Okay, let's lean into some other strategies of, hey, you're there for other people. This is not about you. Let's lean into the strategy of you being so interested in making sure they're getting the content, that you're not so interested in how you're doing getting the content. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not thinking about, oh my gosh, what do I look like? I'm not even looking at myself in the camera. Yeah, I've noticed there's a couple of times where I've said a word on top of other words. But I'm not concerned about it because I want to help get this information. I want to get this over to you. And so I'm more concerned with you than I am with how I look to you. And some of you are thinking, Mike, you should be concerned with that. You know what? I'm not. And I'm just not going to be. And that's a great recipe for insecurity, for us to be thinking about what are people thinking about me. Instead, even if it's with flubs and no edits, even if it's not perfect, be less concerned with how you do and more concerned with what they get across. What would you prefer? Would you like an amazing, incredible, beautiful cake with awful ingredients inside that just taste horrible? Or would you like an incredible, amazing, so good cake, but that doesn't look very good on the outside? I'd much rather great content that might not be dressed up the perfect way than amazing looking content that is got nothing on the inside. So when you go to present, don't worry about the exterior. There's ways that you can work on that. Absolutely. I'm not saying you shouldn't work on it at all, but really make sure you're getting the content across to them and you become the vehicle for that. So make it a game that, can I get this to them? Can I get this to them? Can I get my point across? How can I ensure that which I wrote down is going to them? I don't care if I impress them. I just want to connect with them. I just want to make sure they understand the lecture, the presentation, the sales pitch, the best man's speech, whatever it is. That's what I want to get across. Be there. Don't think about the last time you failed. Don't go back there. Don't think about, I can't wait till I'm done. If you think about that, well, guess what? They're going to see right through you. Have you ever been with somebody who you can just tell they're ready to be done with you? And you're talking with them and they're just like, okay, yeah. How does that make you feel? Awful. So instead, when you're there, be there with them. In preparation, be there. In presentation, be there. And then the third stage of speaking is reflection. Too many people skip this because they say, I finished. I'm done. I never have to do that again until the next time. I mean, even if you do a best man wedding speech, guess what? You're going to have to give another speech at some point in time, a thank you or a presentation for work, whatever it might be. So might as well reflect on what you just did and be fully present here. Don't just say, I'm done and move on to my future. Be fully present in this moment. Now, there's 3 C's that you want to consider. I talk about this in my book, Speak with No Fear. And they are, you want to celebrate, cut, and change. So I'm in the reflection moment. I'm fully present in this moment. And I'm going to celebrate that which I did well. And you always did something well. Always. As my son plays sports, even if it's not the best day ever, there's always something I can highlight in him. Even if it's he just showed up. Showing up, sometimes that's the biggest accomplishment. I know for the gym, for working out, showing up, nothing else will follow if you don't show up. So there's always something to celebrate in your presentation. Make sure you find 1, 2, 3, maybe even 10 things that you can celebrate. Then what can you cut? If you could go back and look at your speech, look at what you did, what could you cut? You want to be aware of that which you said that you didn't need to say. No, this is not cutting yourself. It's not beating yourself up. It's thinking through cutting the content. Think about it like a third party. So you're not being harsh on yourself, but you're saying, if I were to go back and do that differently, I would have done this. Even if it's a best man's wedding, you're going, I wouldn't have told that joke right there. I would have cut that. It didn't land. So you're learning from it and you're relishing in the moment of learning. Notice you're not going back and reliving it. You're doing it as a third party interested person and you're observing so that you can get better in the future. Much like we would observe how a great sports player plays so that we can improve our game, you're going back and going, what did I do well there? And what could I have done different? The last one is change. Okay, now that I'm going to the future, let me grab some things from there and what would I do differently? So what would I cut? What would I not do? And what would I change? What would I do differently? And be fully present in that moment of reflection. That is how you get great at speaking again and again. And it's how you overcome the fear of speaking. Because if I'm here and I'm thinking through, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on stage, I'm going to miss out on the joy of here, and I'm going to terrorize myself, and I'm going to add fear in when I'm here. And then if I'm here and I'm thinking, I just got to get over, well, your presentation is going to drop. You're not going to do as well, which then you're going to be able to see in people that you're not doing as well. As a result, you're going to feel more fearful. And then afterwards, you're going to think, well, that went bad, and now I never want to do it again, adding to fear for the future. Instead, don't go way back here. Don't go back to other times that you failed. Don't go way over here like, I can't wait to the time where I never have to talk to people ever again, which is when you're dead. Don't go there. Instead, think through these 3 different stages. Be fully present in preparation, fully present in the presentation. Use energy, use it for them, connect with them, and then be fully present in the reflection so that you, as a third-party person, can think through how you would change yourself in the next time that you present. So, reliving the past or futuring too much? Neither one. Instead, it's being fully present wherever you are. There's times for those, but those times exist so that you can be right here, right now. So don't tune in to Instagram or Facebook or anything for a moment. Don't move on. Take a moment and just be where you are, because where you are, there's where you need to be. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. I love being able to share with you in this medium. I've had some people reach out to me. It's been absolutely fun. Feel free to do so. Connect with me at connect.stepstoadvance.com. Don't forget to subscribe, share with some people, invite them to this page as we talk about advancing mostly in your leadership and your communication. Till next time.
Thanks for listening to Advance with Mike Acker, a podcast designed to provide an edge for leaders through improving practical leadership skills and increasing confidence in speaking. Mike is a best-selling author and business owner who has helped many leaders increase their skills and their confidence, propelling them to new heights in their personal and professional endeavors. Join an incredible group of professionals taking the steps to become better leaders at connect.stepstoadvance.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.